Hate has no place here in these United States, right? The whole point of our country is that we are united. We are a melting pot, and we are a wildly diverse group of people who are experiencing a really challenging time with this election. And I wanted to speak tonight about how important it is to stand up when we see hate speech, especially between now and our upcoming presidential election. And I want to speak to you if you feel like what you're posting, even when you know it's disinformation, but it makes a point you want to make, even when you know it would dramatically hurt people who you love, why you feel compelled to still post. I'm going to try to speak to you so that you understand how detrimental this is going to be to you in your future if you continue to make these choices. Because I think people get all riled up, right? Heat of the moment, all excited. You get engaged and you think you're doing something that will support your candidate. But what you're doing is making yourself probably not look so great, right? Now, I'm not talking about somebody who says, this is what I believe our country should do about the national deficit. This is what I believe about the abortion debate. This is what I believe about immigration. That's all awesome. That's what we're here for. I'm talking about the sexist, racist misinformation that we're seeing spread everywhere and by people that we know, like, and used to trust, right? And so what do we want to say to them? And the first thing I want to say to you is your children are watching. And I don't say this in a mean way. I say this in a heartbroken way. I am absolutely devastated when I see people who I know have people in their lives who need them, look up to them, and respect them. And they are posting online hate-fueled speech about their very own loved ones. Maybe you're doing it thoughtlessly. Maybe you're in denial. I don't know. But I need you to think about for a moment before you press publish, before you press post, would you be comfortable having what you're saying on the cover of the local newspaper for everyone that you love, especially your children, to read? Because if it were me, I would be humiliated. I would absolutely want to do better for my children, because you're not only saying that you hate them, that they shouldn't exist, that you're denying them their identities. You're someone they love and need, and you're saying that. And the rate of how children are being impacted by this is astronomical. We don't even know how difficult it is yet. But I can assure you that it is not welcome by them. If they are not capable of or brave enough to tell you, I want to speak into your heart, mamas and papas, because I know you think you're doing something good. I know if you're listening to me, you have a heart for discussion. You didn't just see the topic of this video and go, that's ridiculous. I think hate is good. But what you may not know is that your children see everything you're posting, and it is impacting them incredibly. And I am begging you to shift what you're posting to be more pro what you believe in and less hate-filled about what you don't believe in. And I invite you to learn more if one of your children happen to be something you don't believe in. Because I'm telling you, all you need to do is open your heart. Because that child is the most precious thing in the world. And if you've had the privilege of being a parent, you know how critical the way we behave impacts them. The second thing is your family reads your posts. You know, your gay uncle, your non-binary cousin, your grandmother, your mother. So when you're making salacious sexual innuendos, let's say a woman could only get a good job if she slept with someone to get it, which I'm assuming means a man. Think of how absolutely backwards and hate-filled that is. Think of how insulting that is to your mother, to your grandmother, to your daughter, to any female in your life, right? Think about your biracial grandchildren when you're posting about how no one should be in a position of power if they have any diversity in their background. It's unacceptable in 2024 in America. And God bless us, it always should have been unacceptable. But thank goodness that we have evolved and we now see the error of our ways and we can be better and we can do better together. Your work is watching. So while you're posting hate fueled comments, your work as a teacher, as a pastor, as an engineer, as who knows what, can see your post. If you think, oh no, my profile is private and no one can tell it's me, y'all, it is 2024. Everything follows us all the time. Okay. So if you even had that thought for a millisecond, listening to the sound of my voice, it shows that you're not behaving properly online. And I want to invite you to do it because words can impact your professional reputation, your relationships with your coworkers, and especially if you're making hate-filled, divisive statements, it can have a real world consequence beyond that Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn or TikTok post, right? I live in Charlottesville, Virginia. I know firsthand the power of social media following up on acts of hate speech and how people lose their jobs and lose their freedom when they break the law. And they think they're getting away with it because they're in a big crowd and no one can catch them. That's just not okay and not where you live today. The next thing is that, come on, we can do better than this, right? If you are truly a proponent for a candidate, you've got to believe in what that candidate is proposing that they can do. Why aren't you out here in these streets praising the policies, talking about the statistics, sharing the things that you know are going to be better because you have primary sources? By the way, for those in the back, a primary source is someone who witnessed it firsthand or knows it firsthand. So for example, if you're trying to give somebody a primary source about the production of our crude oil supply in the United States, you need to go to the Department of Energy. You shouldn't trust any political candidate who's telling you something about that information. You can go to the source and find out the information, right? If you're seeing a video that seems like it's a little bit sketchy, right? There's a new disinformational video full of hate that is an absolute lie and a misrepresentation of a video I've seen the original of. Use your discernment and just say, I don't need to post that. That is hate-filled. That is disinformation. That is rumor mongering. And I can do better than that. I can support my candidate with facts. I can support my candidate with figures. I can support my candidate with my awesome, thoughts about why what they're going to do is best, right? And this goes for everybody. I'm not talking about one side or the other. If you thought I was, that might mean something to where you're coming from, right? It's not okay to post hateful things, period. It doesn't matter which side you're on. Sexism and racism are easy to call out, but it doesn't just go for one side, right? The next thing is that words last. The words that you're using are hurtful and they will last. You're not going to have the same experience you had at the holidays as you did before if you're posting hate-fueled disinformation, right? Because you're hurting family, you're hurting friends, and you may not even know it because they may not feel safe telling you who they are. And don't you wish that they would, so that you can embrace them as who they truly are? You don't want people feeling like they have to be deceptive about who they are to you because you are so misinformed and so full of hate and so off base. That's not a real friendship. That's not a real family bond, right? So words last. What you post today can be seen forever. And it's really important that you think about this long-term impact. So when you post, do something awesome, right? Post something solid that you look back on and you go, I stand by that. This is great information. What's especially troubling is this trend that I know we're all familiar with, and that is the absolute lack of Christian values I'm seeing betrayed by a lot of my Christian people that I know, whether it's friends, family, associates that I have online. It is absolutely not Christian to be hateful. It is absolutely not Christian to lie or misrepresent the truth. Period. It's that simple. And I know as a Christian myself that it's not about perfection, because goodness knows I can always be better myself. So this is also something for me to keep in mind, right? But what I'm telling you is when you think you're just sharing a post from someone else, but you know for sure it's not truthful, somewhere in your belly, you know it's not truthful, that's not Christian behavior. And what I see more and more from the far right is an attempt to kind of really rile up the Christian base, which is shocking me. Because to me, Jesus taught us to love one another. That is his most powerful message. He knows every hair on the top of my head. I am precious to him. I am forgiven by him. What more miracle could there be? And you want to, in his name, hurt people? No, ma'am. No, sir. I'm not comfortable with that. And as a Christian, I will stand up to your disinformation online. You can delete all my posts you want. But I know God's mission. I know God's message. And it is absolutely not to keep children starving in school. It is absolutely not to turn people in need away. It is absolutely not to lie. It is absolutely not to cheat. It is absolutely not to steal, right? We know the basic tenets of Christianity, and yet we're not living by them. And so give a Christian message. Share a powerful Christian message about why you believe what you believe, my friend, because that is what we are here to do. And if you're Jewish, share a great Jewish message about what you believe. If you are Catholic, share a great Catholic message about what you believe. If you're Episcopalian, if you're a Buddhist, right? Whatever religion you bring to our table, it's going to make everyone richer. No one gets turned away because hate has no place here. And I want you to really think about how you're going to make it through the next few weeks moving towards this election with peace, with a strong message, with a strong truth, while not spreading hate and not spreading disinformation, because your message is powerful beyond that. You don't need to resort to trickery to get your message across. But I'm seeing it left and right. So for my part, I'm going to keep with curiosity and kindness, engaging with people who I respect but strongly disagree with when I see them posting what I know to be disinformation online. Because I think that is not just Christian, that it's democratic. And we've all got to fight for our democracy. This election is critical in our history. And the way we conduct ourselves is almost more important than who even wins or loses, right? We will all win the election if we start shifting our conversations towards what our country was founded on. And that is that all men are created equal. And by that, we mean all people are created equal, right? When we learn to have difficult discussions, or as I say, hard conversations with soft words, when we learn to conduct ourselves in the public sphere, which is what this computer is, with grace and dignity and respect. So let's see if we can't all try that a little bit. And it might even make your day feel a little bit lighter. I love you. I know we can do this. I believe in our country and I believe in you. So have an amazing day. And I can't wait to see you back here